Cooking Simulator. A wonderful immersive experience that simulates what it's like to work in a professional real-world kitchen. I find its gameplay and mechanics simple, relaxing, and also engaging for the mind that craves stimulation. The gameplay is pretty straightforward. You start off with 0 stars and work your way up to 5 stars through various kitchen-simulated exercises, with everything from slicing vegetables to intricately seasoning meats and cooking everything to completion. In this particular iteration of gameplay, we start off with a powerful menu consisting of salmon, trout, and tomato soup. This will most likely be a no-brainer. Now, we do have the ability to add other A-list recipes to our restaurant's menu, but that comes later as we achieve more stars. For the time being, we prep for the day. I've found that it helps to prep the meats and other tedious ingredients in bulk. Unfortunately, the prep time is fairly minimal when we're just starting out. I can only assume our main player overslept for their first day, drastically cutting into their precious prep time. Oh, would you look at that? The salmons don't like being on the same plate. This is going to shape up to be a great playthrough. I can feel it. Wait, what's wrong with the box textures? It's probably nothing. Surely it has nothing to do with a recent DLC release. I should also note that I did begin playing this playthrough literally seconds after the sushi DLC released. Tomato soup, a comfort meal, certainly a delicacy that one specifically visits a 5-star restaurant for. This recipe is sure to be leagues better than its canned counterpart, which I'm sure most of us are familiar with. And let's not forget to prep boiled potatoes, a simple yet elegant expression of the humble tuber. Oh no, my spatula seems to not be spatulaing. Perhaps this board will make a nice replacement. There has to be an easier yet non-spatula using way of flipping the salmon. Oh, whoops. Oh well, just like my nanny said, a little dirt never hurt. Oh no, how did this break like that? That definitely takes talent, or rather a lack thereof. Whichever it is, I have plenty of it. In case you haven't figured it out already, this playthrough didn't exactly pan out as intended. Originally this was going to be a long play, but way too many shenanigans took place. At the end of each day of feeding hungry patrons, a cleanup period is awarded to you, the player. This period of time grants you nothing except the pleasure of maintaining a clean kitchen. The reality of the simulation is that your kitchen can remain a mess. You don't seem to lose any fame points from a disheveled working environment. And thankfully, your hard work does eventually pay off. If one can persevere through the glitches, spills, and other mishaps, you will eventually gain enough fame points and an elusive food critic will pay your eating establishment a visit. If you can impress him, you will be rewarded with a coveted star, the first of many to come. We better put this in a nice, safe place. A place that commemorates our hard work. So far, day 2 was shaping up to be a great day. The refrigerator decided that I wasn't worthy of its ingredients. Thankfully, some forceful convincing yielded results, and I was finally able to prep more tasty salmon goodness. Flipping the salmon did prove to be quite a feat. Eventually, the glitch was fixed in the next update, but I found that my salmon flipping abilities reduced my cook time and I opted to continue using this method. I learned a rather interesting and useful skill. I was so in the groove of preparing and cooking the tasty salmon that I forgot that trout required different spices. Here you see me absent-mindedly seasoning them with salt and pepper rather than their traditional pepper, thyme, and parsley. A mistake I didn't realize until it was too late. And I promptly discarded the evidence. I was rather proud of my rendition of baked potatoes with feta. It was my first time preparing the dish, and I managed to unlock an achievement with its 5-star worthiness. And somehow, with the power of cold potatoes and a sunflower oilless salmon, I snagged yet another star on my 5-star journey. We better put this one next to the other one, for safekeeping. Perfect. With 2 stars already under my belt, I was determined to get that third one. I had to deal with a particularly difficult salmon flip, as well as a salmon that refused to finish cooking. This glitch does happen on occasion, and the fix is rather easy, if not annoying. Sometimes picking up the skillet and placing it back onto the burner helps. Other times flipping it will do the trick, but if you're a truly patient person, you can simply wait until it finishes up, which it will eventually do. Oops. Clumsy me? I wish I could say I didn't drop nearly as many things in the real world, but alas, I am a clumsy person both in-game and IRL. You win this time, refrigerator. It would appear as if it has a bone to pick with me. I'm not entirely sure what I've done to offend it, but perhaps there is some deep-seated rage boiling from within its cold, cold heart. It watches, mocking me silently as I pick up the broken pieces of my shattered life. I cooked salmon after salmon. I know you're thinking that I could have disabled this recipe using the custom menu option, but I was actually having a lot of fun using this technique. I couldn't help but giggle a little every time, watching the salmon wiggle and jiggle about in a chaotic manner. This was yet another annoying glitch I ran into. I was unable to effectively pour liquids onto other items as needed by this specific recipe. This was fixed in the next update, but I still had to deal with it until the update took effect. How does this one even make sense? Normally I don't have such chaotic playthroughs, but for one reason or another, this game was against me tonight. After many dropped food items and flipped salmons, the 3rd star was finally mine to claim. A delicious microwave bowl of tomato soup sealed my claim to fame. And to think this was only the 5th official day of my restaurant being open for business. This newest trophy proved to be a challenge on placing it on my shelf. Eventually I had to settle for good enough and move on as the orders began to pile up. Almost immediately, the succulent salmons demanded my attention. Tenderly I would flip them, ensuring that every morsel was made with love and just a hint of chaos. Because after all, that is the secret to great cooking. Ah yes, I forgot that sometimes your cooking items will occasionally stick to other cooking items and create inconvenient messes. Oh, what joy! Tirelessly I worked to earn even more fame points, flipping salmon, cleaning up messes, and flipping even more salmon. It was about this time that I had exited and re-entered the game to see if the update fixed the spatula's functionality. Voila, it seemed to have worked. I would need to use the spatula for the complicated coffee-seasoned steak and corn on the cob recipe. The wacky way with which I flipped the salmon just wasn't going to work for the steaks. Oh look, another unusual but not unheard of glitch. Be on the lookout for the physics-defying food. This salmon decided it was going to phase through the metal stove. We can without a doubt claim that our food is out of this world. My, how the time flies. I hardly noticed that the food critic had graced me with his presence once again. He ordered exactly the same thing as before, which was tomato soup for those who aren't keeping up. The celebration is cut short, however, as there is more food that needs to be cooked and more hungry customers needing their bellies filled. It would also appear that I've made more messes that require cleaning. This glitch, however, was new to me. The garlic was phasing through the other vegetables and done so every time I picked them up. Oh, cooking simulator, whatever will you come up with next? The good news is that I was able to pick up another garlic, and this one didn't defy the laws of physics. This cooking timer managed to find its way onto my serving plate not once, but twice. It would appear that defying physics isn't limited to the food items. Anything and everything is fair game at this point. After long last, I finally achieved my 5th and final star. A perfectly seasoned coffee steak and corn on the cob is to thank. It has been quite the journey, and I'm a little saddened that it's over, but I'm also grateful because this has been a trial of patience and ingenuity. Though this game has its flaws, they are what makes it worthwhile in my opinion. After all, no simulation is complete without a little chaos sprinkled on top. It keeps things interesting. Remember to subscribe if you're not already. I recently hit 1,000 subscribers and I would love to keep the numbers rising. I hope one day to make YouTube my full-time career. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.